Department of Homeland Security reports increased threats towards LGBTQ+. A new report distributed to government and law enforcement agencies on May 11 by the Department of Homeland Security said that domestic violence extremists and people who commit hate crimes have increased threats of violence against the LGBTQ+ community within the last year. DHS said that the issues inspiring threats and calls of violence against the LGBTQ+ community could lead to a rise of potential attacks against larger targets, such as public spaces and healthcare sites that may be linked to the community. DHS analysts also cite social media chatter celebrating the recent mass shootings at a Nashville church school. According to DHS, about 20% of all hate crimes reported throughout the country in 2021 were motivated by bias linked to sexual orientation and gender, citing the FBI's hate crime statistics. In recent months, politicians in Tennessee, Florida, and other Republican-run states have introduced legislation that critics say targets the LGBTQ+ community. In March, Tennessee became the first state to restrict public drag performances. In March 2022, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed the Parental Rights in Education bill, dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill, by detractors. Last month, the Florida Board of Education expanded those restrictions to include all grades. DHS mentioned that high-profile attacks against schools and faith-based institutions have historically inspired individuals to copycat attacks. What you just said exactly fits this. You know, what you think is a joke in California, you know, have repercussions around the country and in communities like ours where this hate is brewing, you know, and this intolerance. What is a joke to you, David Richardson, in California, in Florida, or Tennessee, or Alabama, could be interpreted in different ways. So what you do and you say have consequences. And if you're an educator, you should keep that in mind. You know, this is what is translating different ways around the country. And it's kind of like feeding this intolerance.
Yeah.
So
of course this is going up. Here's the thing, Dino. Stupid people want to stay stupid. Okay, they don't want to know. They don't want to educate themselves. Jacob, it's the truth, babe. Okay, they want to stay stupid. All right. There are people who really think that gays are going into elementary schools and grooming children. I mean, I have read on a board that says that they think that we're going in there and injecting kids with something that makes them gay. This is how crazy some of these people think. All right, so why not copycat somebody else, or like that shooting at church? They think that they're saving the world by getting rid of us. Mm-hmm. And they truly believe it. If you gave them a lie detector test, they would pass. These are scary ass times. Scary.
And it's all supported by the state in Florida. It's all supported by that. Okay, we're going to demonize these people. We're going to demonize the hell out of you. Then we're going to tell doctors they don't have to treat you. If they sincerely believe it religiously, they don't have to.
If they feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Done.
Bye.
And then they say, here's a gun. Here's as many guns as you want. We don't need to know who you are or how many you have. And by the way, these people are terrible. They don't get medical treatment. Doctors don't have to treat them. Even stupid people, Faye, are going to be able to connect those two dots. It's a short trip. Yeah. It's dangerous.
And you know
it's
the
fucking
proof of
dangerous.
That, by the way. It's an interesting observation you just make. The DHS statistics show that the percentage of these kind of hate crimes against LGBT marginalized community is 3 times what the percentage of population should be. And we're in an unfortunate pool because the only other marginalized community that has a greater percentage of hate is anti-Semitic hate. And we all understand anti-Semitic hate because for 100 years, really hundreds of years, but in a world war, there was a Holocaust over marginalization of a minority community. We are talking about butting up against a marginalized community where a Holocaust happened. Anti-Semitic hate and LGBT. That's our neighbor in this.
We were doing some fundraisers for our foundation throughout the year, trying to do different ad campaigns that were raising money for trans kids that we were helping to support. And the most disturbing thing that we got was the interaction on our posts, which were incredibly anti-trans, incredibly scary. Our lives threatened constantly, every day, getting so many posts, and like it was upsetting enough to where I was no longer allowed to go onto our social media, and our vice president had to, and I'm so grateful for her. But it does show that who we're trying to serve is incredibly disliked because there's no positive representation. They don't see the beauty behind choosing your identity, choosing your gender. And I just want to ask everyone out there, when was the last time or the first time you chose to be a man or a woman, regardless if you were born or not? When did you choose to be a man or a woman? Our trans brothers and sisters made that choice, but our cisgendered, we never consider it. And that's where we have a problem.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.